Hi guys, I'm back. We're going to be doing our fireside chat here in just a little bit, but first I'm starting to do a little bit of seeding this year, and I just wanted to show you how I deal with seeding my plants. This is the first year I'm doing it this way. I've had the thought in mind, I planned ahead for it. So I have showing labels here, but I have an addiction to yogurt. It is my go-to every morning for breakfast. So I have 50,000 of these little plastic yogurt cups that I collect all the time because I don't want to throw them into the landfill. And they happen to make great little seed starts. We just poke some holes. I've got some here that I've already done. Poke some holes in the bottom of them so the soil will drain and won't get bogged down and soggy. We're going to put these on top of basically just like a cookie sheet with a grate over the top of it so that the soil can drain. It won't sit in water. And we're just going to use a little bit of seed starting soil and just put them away. So what I've done is I've taken my little containers and I have them all marked. Like this one, we're going to put rainbow Swiss chard in. And I've already pulled out my seeds. This is my little jar of rainbow Swiss chard. Some indoor, outdoor seed starting soil that we're going to use here. Try to get this set up so that I don't spill it everywhere. So we're going to just take our little cup in there, knock off the top, got a nice little cup of starting soil there, and then I have the spray bottle over here. I am going to spray down. Let's move this back into Luna. Hi, this is Luna. She's helping. She's not a very good helper, but she tries. Yep, somebody had my spray bottle on shoot for getting the dogs instead of spray. All right, there we go. Get that nice and wet. Make sure that drains down. This is nice, loamy seed starting soil, so we should get a pretty positive effect out of this, I think. Now, since these are just starting seeds, this is not where they're going to grow. They're just going to get started, and we're going to create seedlings in these little buggers. We're going to plant multiples in each container because they're not going to get very big before we take them out of here. So. And I have this lovely little kit over here. It's just fantastic. It happened to come with this little pair of tweezers. If you can see those, they're perfect for grabbing these tiny little seeds. And basically what I do is I take the tip of the tweezers have a cover. Looks like that. I'm going to use that to poke little holes in my seed starting here, and then we're just going to take out some Swiss chard seeds, set them down in there, figuring about 4 or 5 per little pot. We're not doing a huge garden this year because we are still trying to build a house and we're still trying to get our chicken coops built, and we have a bunny hutch to build, and we still have a shed to build that needs to go over the top of my water storage so that I can attach my water pump and my solar panels, my batteries up, so that I actually have pressurized water instead of just running off the 40-gallon pressurized tank that's inside my trailer, which is not exactly conducive to, like, great nice hot showers or anything like that. So now I have a spoon out here. I have my seeds in there, and so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a spoon and I'm just going to dig some of the soil up with the spoon and just kind of put it right over the top. Oh, we've got some wind blowing up today. All right, so we're going to put that right over the top. Let's put a dirt right over the top of it. And then we're going to give it a nice, good spritz. Make sure that water, that soil has plenty of moisture to drain down through it. And we already know that's going to drain well, so if it has a little extra, water in it right now. That's okay. I'm just going to tamp those down a little bit. I'm going to wipe the top of it off, because what we're going to do with these, now that they're in here, is we are going to take these little storage clear plastic storage bags. And basically what I'm going to do is I am going to, in case you're so curious, come on, back off. All right, so what I'm going to do is I am going to place this plant, and I'm basically creating a little greenhouse just for this plant. So what we're going to do is we are going to close that off, seal that up with the plastic, with the Ziploc that's on it. If I can get, these are really cheap bags, they don't want to Ziploc at all. All right, now we're going to take our old timer, pop out the blade on it, and just hold that plastic tight and pop a few little holes in the top so that we get good airflow. Now that little guy is marked and all ready to go inside in its space for growing. That's literally all there is to it, guys. That's it. So we will keep an eye on these over the next few weeks. I'm going to do the rest of these here real quick, but we'll keep an eye on these over the next few weeks, and I'll show you the progress as we move along. Oh, got a little bit too much in this one to start with. So that was sweetheart, or no, that was rainbow chard that we just planted. Now we're going to do some garlic chives, and again, just kind of pat this down a little bit, give it a little bit of a drink. Hiya, Pato. Are you helping too? Yeah, are you helping? So these little guys, these are super freaking tiny, so tiny. So this is definitely one where you want to use your tweezers so that you're not, and for that matter, sometimes what I'll do is take these caps and turn them upside down and just dump a few seeds, since I'm not trying to plant all of the seeds that I have right now. That's for when we have our infrastructure settled, which we do not have yet. So I'm just going to put several of these in here, probably a dozen, give or take, maybe more. But I want to make sure that they kind of get moved around all over inside of the box or inside of the planter. Make sure that there's plenty of space for all the little guys to grow once we get to that point. I don't know how many others I have been counting. I've just been kind of keeping an eye on how much space is left in there, that there's no goodies, that there's no little seeds in. So we'll call that good. Good for this container. Okay. Now, put these little guys back in their container. Close their lids so they stay fresh. Case. Now we're going to go back to that spoon, get a little bit of dirt, put on top. And I mean, for real, man, this is something that you can do if you have an apartment. And some of the stuff that I'm growing, if you have a balcony, you can grow Swiss chard and kale and chives and carrots even. Like, you can grow carrots in containers. Grow them in a bucket on your back porch. They'll grow in that. They don't, you know. People think gardening is a lot harder than it actually is. Like, yeah, okay, if you're looking to produce enough to feed your entire family, you're not going to do that on a balcony. But if you would like to supplement what you buy at the grocery store to reduce your food bills, there is absolutely no reason why you can't do this on your back porch, on your deck, on, you know, whatever space you have. You can do some of these in your house. They don't have to go outside. As long as they've got a good light. I mean, if you've got a little apartment with a big sliding glass door on the backside that gets full sun all day, you got a spot to plant plants. I mean, they'll grow there like crazy, especially indoors. As long as you keep them watered and keep sunlight on them, they're good. All right, so back to the Ziploc bag. This little guy inside. And these are all just going to go in a windowsill in my house for the next couple of, or inside of my trailer for the next couple of weeks until we have seedlings that can be planted. And we're going to be working on getting our garden beds all ready to go for when the seedlings and when the stuff that we can straight sow into the garden beds. Garlic chives. Now we're going to do some regular chives. Again, these guys are even tinier than the garlic chives. The garlic chives are small. These guys are itty bitty.
Back in a sheriff's office that doesn't just look different. This was 1971.
And these ones, since I did not pour all the seeds out, and these are so tiny, I'm just going to pour these across the top of this dirt and we'll see what sprouts. That will give us a good amount of chives. I'm a big fan of chives. I cook with chives in almost every dish I make, so extra chives is not going to hurt my flavors. Oh no, you mean I might have to dry some and turn them into dried chives for use during the winter? Hey, could you guys back up for a little bit, please? Back up. Back up. No, Apollo, that's not food. It's dirt. I know you don't know the difference. You think they're one and the same, which is proven daily by your inability to resist eating dirt. Overboard there. When you first use your sprayer, be careful, because when you're using the seed potting soil, it's actually very dry when it comes out, which is why you want to make sure you get it wet before you put your seeds in and after. I'm actually going to put a little bit more dirt over the top of that. That's not quite a bit. No, Apollo, stop. You're not helping, baby. I know you're trying to be helpful, but you're not helping. Alright. Alright, plastic baggie. And basically what we're doing here is we're creating little miniature greenhouses for all of the plants by sticking them inside these plastic baggies. I have a greenhouse coming. I do not have a greenhouse built yet. And since I don't have a greenhouse built yet, and it's the time of year I need to start getting seeds started for my first crops that need to go in the ground once my first frost is over. So yeah, trying to get some seeds started this way, hoping this works. This is also why I'm not using all of my seeds, so if this doesn't work, I know, and I know not to continue to try using this means of getting this stuff seeded. Now, artichokes, I'm a huge fan of artichokes, so I actually have 2 containers here for my artichokes. And we're going to do some green globe. I also have some purple globe seeds coming, but I don't have them yet, so we're not going to be able to do the purple globe yet, and they may just end up having to be planted later in the season than is typical for them. Alright, so we're going to do 2 little cups of seeds here. I love artichokes. Unfortunately, my youngest daughter is deathly allergic to artichokes, so we have to plant these in a part of the garden that she is not in, and so that they cannot contaminate the rest of the crop, because she literally is so allergic to them that she will break out in hives and go into anaphylactic shock. We found this out the hard way the very first time she ever ate artichokes, and it makes her so mad because she loved it so much. She downed an entire artichoke, all the leaves, in like 10 minutes, and then all of a sudden started going into anaphylactic shock, and that was literally the only thing that she had eaten, drank, anything that entire day that she didn't normally eat or drink. So, hey guys, it's just the crow, or it's just the ravens. It's fine, leave them alone. We have a mated pair of ravens that live in the corner of the property, and my dogs, they like to taunt my dogs. Pretty hilarious, if you ask me. Alright, so I think we're going to do 4 of these. These are pretty decent sized seeds, and artichokes are pretty decent sized plants. So we're going to do 4 of these in each cup. I think 8 plants would be plenty for this year. we will probably do more next year, and we may do another late planting. We might do a straight sow later on in the year after it warms up, and we can straight sow vegetables into our garden without having to seed them first. We get nice warm summers here, so straight sowing seeds in late spring is not unheard of and is absolutely okay in my area. Now, check your area. And I heard this from a wonderful woman that I'm following online. And it's something that I think can't be reiterated enough if you are new to gardening. When you are planting annuals, and these are the plants that you have to replant every single year, your tomato plants, your beans, your cucumbers, your carrots, your lettuce, yada, 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 all those kind of plants. When you're planting those, you do not plant those based off of your grow zone by the USDA. You plant those based off of your last frost. So my last frost here in Washington is around May 7th. So we actually have a very late season, but we also stay warmer into the fall later. So we actually have about a 155-day grow season. It's not a super long grow season here because we are in the Olympic Peninsula. We are in the Salish Sea. We're on an island. Because of that, we get a little bit more moderate temperatures than the mainland does, and we get that because we're surrounded by water. The water itself is very cold, but the water does have a tendency to increase the airflow currents of warm air up onto the island. So when the rest of the area around us, like right now, is being torrentially downpoured on, I have blue skies and sunshine outside. So yay, I love my little microclimate. But anyhow, that's a very important thing to remember is when you're planting those annuals, go off of your frost, your last frost and your first frost for your growing season, and not your zone. Your growing zone is for perennial plants. These are like trees, shrubs, anything that is going to come back year after year. Strawberries here in the Pacific Northwest where I live are actually a perennial plant. They are not an annual. I do not have to plant strawberries every year. Some places do because it just either gets too hot during the summer for them or it gets too cold during the winter for the plants to survive. Here, I have mine planted in garden boxes. I cut them back to next to nothing and then throw compost and hi buddy. How you doing? I throw compost and mulch over the top of them at the end of the growing season. I cut them all back and I throw that over the top of them, do them in the soil, and in the spring I just pull the mulch back off the top of them and they just start going crazy. They grow everywhere. I have vines of strawberries that are like 40 feet long, and if I could keep my babies from getting into the strawberry boxes, they love my strawberry plants. That would be fantastic because then I might actually get to eat some of my strawberries. We actually are growing an early harvest Oregon strawberry. We have a later summer harvest strawberry, and then I also have some white strawberries planted. We got a little bit of growth off of those last year. The berries were super, super small. It was the first year that they had real growth on them. So I'm hoping this year I'll be able to tend to the plants a little bit better. Last year I was in the middle of moving onto my new property and all of that, and I had to dig up the plants and move them in the middle of summer. So I was super worried that I was going to end up losing my strawberries from digging them up and transplanting them, but I did not. I kept them all, and they actually grew all summer and well into the fall. We actually had strawberry flowers on the plants up until probably December. It was kind of crazy. We've had a very warm, if not wet, winter here, so the growth has been weird. My cherry trees that I planted last year are already starting to show buds on them, which has really got me worried, because if we get a real hard frost, which we still could get between now and our last frost, that could do some serious damage to my cherry trees. So keeping an eye on those, keeping an eye on everything else, but I'm going to go ahead and get the rest of this stuff planted up, and I will see you guys later on this afternoon about 4 o'clock for our fireside chat. Talk to you soon. Bye.